Welcome to Core Cutting this week, episode number 26, recorded November 21st, 2019. This is the show where we break down some of the biggest story in the world, and I got a guest in here with me. Jess is in the office.
I'm in the office finally.
Yeah, I was just thinking when you came in yesterday that since you went full-time at Core Cars News, because you came down to Texas when you were a freelancer for us, but since you went full-time, this is the first time you and I have been in the same room even.
It's true, yeah. Yeah, we've only met once in real life, and now I'm finally in the office since starting in March.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that in 2019, almost 2020 now, you don't even have to ever meet who you work with face to face.
It's true, yeah. I feel like my coworkers and my friends are already, and I just met them for the first time yesterday.
Yeah, so it's a small world thing. Things are different when you work on a website online. I guess it doesn't matter if you're in Germany or Boston or Ohio and Texas. As long as you can get access to the internet, you can work. So let's get into some of the news because a lot has been happening recently. And let's dive into first the giveaway. Don't forget, we're giving away a Fire TV recast, or Fire TV Cube, excuse me. I was looking at the recast just right here on the screen. You can see it right there. Fire TV Cube 2019 model, the brand new Fire TV Cube, far faster, far improved over the older generation Fire TV Cube, and a $100 Hulu gift card. If you want to enter for a chance to win, link in the show notes down below on YouTube. I'll put it in the description of the podcast video too. You have a little less than a week, so don't wait. Multiple ways to enter. You don't have to do them all, but the more you do, the more chances you get. All right, let's get into the news of the day. Starting off with some bad news, Jess, a price hike.
Mm-hmm.
So as with my always rule, bad news comes on Friday afternoons. Hulu announced a $10 price hike up to $54.99. Now that does include the $5.99 on-demand service with that, so you could argue it's more like $49 for the live TV service. But the price hike will take effect on December 18th and will affect all new subscribers at that time. Current subscribers will see their bill go into effect on their next billing cycle on or after the 18th of December. So if your billing cycle is on December 17th, you kind of won the lottery on that. Now, Hulu was kind of like, hey, I know this is never easy, and if you want to go to our on-demand service, you sure can. But they're basically just saying this is to better reflect the substantial value of Hulu Plus live TV and allow us to continue to offer all the popular live news, sports, and entertainment packages included in the plan. Just $10. How many people are going to jump ship?
So many. I hate to say it, but the price is still pretty much on par with the other streaming services. But we've already gotten so many readers sending us emails and commenting on the Facebook page saying any price hike is not okay, they're done. But I think it's important to keep in mind that all of the streaming services have had price hikes lately. This is nothing new. Yes, it stinks. No one likes paying more money, but it's not super surprising, and it's really not so expensive that it's more than all of the other services.
Yeah, Spectrum just raised their price by $10, or overall $10 once you add in the price hike on the service, the price hike on the device rentals, and more. And that was the third price hike in 12 months. Mm-hmm. For all the talk of cable TV out there with it, that, it's cheaper to go back to cable. It's like, wow, cable TV went up $10 from this point last year. Mm-hmm. How is this any different? It just means the same amount of savings this year as you had last year. Now, I did find it interesting that Disney took the time to come out and give us a statement on why they did this. What did they say, Jess?
Yeah, so Disney basically just said, we have to raise the price in order to continue making a profit. They had no choice, according to their statement, which came from Disney's direct-to-consumer chairman, Kevin Mayer. So Mayer just basically said what I just said, that they had to increase the price. They didn't really have any other options. Programming for live TV is expensive. But we also wanted to point out that there were a couple of other notes from Hulu about this. So they gave the solution, like you said, of switching from the live TV more expensive package, downgrading to one of the other Hulu packages, and just switching back and forth. Hulu makes it very easy. You just go into your account, you go down to manage my subscription. It's like a click of a button just to switch from one plan to another. They also wanted to make it very clear two things. First, that the prices of Hulu with limited ads and Hulu ad-free, the basic plans, are not going up in price. This is only for the Hulu with live plan. Also, they want to make it very clear, I like this a lot, that they are not planning on dropping Hulu with live the way that Sony dropped PlayStation Vue. So we're all safe for now. Our subscriptions are good, just a little more expensive.
Yeah, what I also thought was interesting is he talked about the idea of a skinnier bundle. You know, you have Friendly at $5.99, Vidgo 14, Sling TV at 25, and Philo at 20. And he talked about, hey, we would love to do that. We definitely are looking into that. But our contracts prevent that. And it's kind of funny to hear Disney talk about that because they're the notorious bundles. You want ESPN, guess what? You're going to take Disney Channel, Disney Junior, your Freeform, all in your core package, plus ABC. And you also have to carry ESPN2 in your core package.
Yeah, we just talked about that with Fubo a couple of weeks ago, that they can't have ESPN because they don't want all these extra Disney channels.
Yeah. So I think it's really hilarious that they talk about it, but it is true. I mean, Disney's not the only one that does this, that they come out there and they say, hey, you want Fox Sports? Guess what? Fox News, or the other way around, is included, and all this other stuff. And that's what, you know, a lot of people say, I love to have Philo ad channels, but what could you add from Philo that wouldn't come as part of this massive bundle of Viacom channels around there, of Fox channels or CBS channels? You know, you want CBS? Guess what? You got to have CBS Sports and CBS News and CBS this and that.
Yep, costs add up very, very quickly.
Yeah, so we're going to have to keep a close eye on this, but I think this is very interesting that Disney's being so upfront about it, that they're like, hey, guess what? This costs money. And I know Disney's very profitable. I know you could be like, oh, they could stand to lose money. But Disney's not going to look at their books as a publicly traded company and say profit, 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 red line. Now, were they really losing money, or was it too small for them to go do what they wanted to do? That's another issue there. Were they just breaking even? But I think it's very interesting to see the trend there, that Disney is saying, hey, for us to do what we want, to have the profit we want, and this package size we want, we're going to have to raise the price.
Yeah, I appreciate them just flat out saying it was a money thing, had to happen. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. So we'll keep a close eye on this, but let's get some predictions in. 2020 is almost here, Jess.
Yes.
Who's next to raise the price?
Oh boy. Well, I want to say YouTube, but we'll get into that a little bit later. My guess would be YouTube. I know that they recently had a price hike, but I could see them going up again. I was just looking at the prices of all the different streaming services. Sling has been pretty consistent, but I could see them increasing too.
I could see them messing with their add-ons.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, because Sling TV has only had one price hike, really, in its entire existence, and that was bringing the orange and the blue plan to 25 from 20. If you think about it, in almost 4 years, Sling TV, one price hike. Now, they have moved some add-ons around. I think the sports add-on on both packages is now 10. It went from 5 to 10 when the NFL Network was added. But yeah, the NFL Network wants to add, for instance, or the YouTube TV wants to add the NFL Network, they'll probably have to raise the price. And, you know, it's always a tough thing. Everybody says, I want more channels. I want this, I want that. But in order to do that, you have to actually go and raise the price somewhere. Somebody has to pay for that. And a lot of the channels that are left unadded are very expensive. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. At some point, you as a core carder have to say, hey, do I really need that? Because if you really want the NFL Network, it's available on Sling. It's available on Fubo TV. At some point, you kind of have to say, you know, if that's really important to me, maybe I switch to that for a few months and switch back.
Sure.
We'll see what happens. All right, let's keep moving along because Disney Plus is.
We skipped one.
Oh, did we skip it?
Hikes.
Oh yeah, sorry.
This is why I make notes.
This is why
I've
Jess
got
is
the
here.
notebook in front of me.
Hulu, let's back up the story here a little bit. A report came out from Moffett-Nathanson looking at the cord cutting trends recently for the third quarter of 2019, and one of the things that this report pointed out was there's a growing trend of cord cutters skipping live TV altogether and going to on-demand only. Now, you know I've talked about this all the time. There's 35 million. I bet there's over 35 million American households that have cut the cord. I'll get to that in a minute. There's only, at best estimate, 8 million live TV subscribers, streaming services. So that means that there is somewhere around 30 million cord cutters out there who are paying for no live TV. They're happy with their Netflix, their Hulu, and their Amazon on-demand versions. And then you add in a antenna, you add in some Tubi, some Crackle, Stir, Pluto TV, etc. You have a huge catalog of content there. So I think this is very interesting. One of the tough things here, though, is a little bit of getting the actual thumb on how many cord cutters there are. Now, we see these trends in these surveys that fewer and fewer cord cutters are paying for a live TV service. But I always talk about this, too. How do you really qualify a cord cutter? Let's say, I went to college, had 4 roommates, we split cable bill. Even though it was like $100, it's $25 each of us. And at the time, okay, $25 for TV, not a bad deal. But when I moved out and I had to pay all that on my own, suddenly I was like, ooh, this is painful. This was, 18 years ago now. Time flies. And I just downgraded to a very cheap cable package. Now we're seeing more and more cord cutters just being like, oh, I'm just not going to get it.
Right.
So that one cable TV bill became 4 cord cutters. And that's why I always say when people try to use the number of dwindling cable TV accounts to try to justify how many cord cutters are out there, I think it's a low number.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I hear another big time, divorces happen, people split and they become cord cutters at that time. We get a lot of emails about that. And that's, again, one account becoming 2 accounts of cord cutting. So we'll keep a close eye on that. But does it surprise you at all that live TV streaming is struggling at all?
Not really. I think that the reason people get into live TV streaming in the first place is that they are moving, like you said, from cable to streaming, but they don't want to give up watching live TV. There's something really nice about, watching Grey's Anatomy on a Thursday night and texting your friends about it while it's happening, or talking about it at work the next day. But I think that now more people are starting to say, well, if I'm really doing this to save money, maybe it's time for me to give this up completely and just switch to on-demand only.
This does line up, a lot, especially with the ad-supported streaming. Roku announced that ad-supported streaming was growing faster than subscription-based streaming. That, the amount of content out there right now on-demand, free on-demand with Pluto, Stir, Zumo, the Roku channel, IMDb TV, Tubi, Crackle, Popcorn Flicks. I could go on for an hour. Many. There's so much content out there, you couldn't watch it if you tried.
Absolutely.
And if all I want is some background noise, if I, honestly, do I really want to be paying money just to turn on to a rerun of Seinfeld? Was it on TBS right now? I can't even remember.
I think so.
Versus maybe watching it on Hulu whenever I want, or watching it on Crackle. So there's a lot of options there.
Yeah, definitely. And I think people are just starting to see those more often. I feel like every time we talk about a free service, people say, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. So I think more people are just now learning about it and finding out what their options really are.
Yeah, so we'll keep a close eye on this, but leave me a comment. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave us a comment. Let us know, have you made that jump? Now, if it wasn't for this job, I'll be honest, football season would probably be the only time of year I would get it.
Sure.
Maybe for March Madness. The rest of the year, I really don't watch live TV. It's all on demand.
I like at the beginning of, the fall season, whenever all of the shows are coming out, I do like watching them live, just kind of keeping track of what's going on. And like I said, watching with my friends or my family. I'm in so many group texts where we all watch the same show at the same time and talk about it as it's happening. This is embarrassing, but for The Bachelor, I am in a group chat. And I think a lot of people like doing that, but I think now there's just so many more options and people really want to save money using those options.
Yeah, so leave us a comment. Let us know. We are reading the comments to see some people asking, and we'll answer some questions at the very end of the Q&A or of the video in our Q&A section. So a little different than our weekly Q&A. This is our weekly podcast. So let's keep moving along because Disney Plus users are getting hacked and their accounts are being sold online. Now, this one raised a lot of questions. How is the hacking coming? Jess, what's just happening here?
Well, there's two things happening here, and we wanted to make this very clear because we did get a lot of comments saying this isn't hacking, this is phishing. So we wanted to make it clear it's a little bit of both. So first, yes, some accounts are being hacked where people are physically going into someone's account, taking it over, changing the username, changing the password, taking credit card information, taking the account over completely. So whenever people try to log in, they can't get into their own account. There's also a phishing scam that's happening that we want to make all of you very aware of, so please look out for this. A lot of people are getting emails saying, this is from Disney, we need to update your credit card information, please log into your account with this link, change your information, this is very important, you have to do it right now. So these phishing scams are made to scare people, obviously, into clicking a link, changing their information so that they don't get hacked. What's really happening is that these people are then taking the login information and using it themselves, or more commonly, selling it online. So this isn't anything new. This has been happening forever. It's been happening with Hulu, with Netflix, everything. You can go to eBay, we don't recommend it, and look for Hulu accounts, and you'll find a ton that are just super cheap where they're taking someone else's information and selling it. Obviously, very illegal. Again, we don't recommend going on there and trying to buy one of these. You will get in trouble. So,
and often, real quick to interrupt, what happens is they say they guarantee it. Mm-hmm. But your account works for a week, somebody realizes you're in there, they kick you out, you go back to eBay to try to get your new password, and you find out that account has been suspended and the listing shut down, and now you're out your money. So just keep that in mind. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. And then you go to cordcuttersnews.com and there's a story about how a hacker has been caught.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that Disney has sort of made a statement just saying that you can contact support if you need help with this. So if you go into your Disney account and you see new profiles that don't belong, if they're not some that you or your kids or family members created themselves, you have to just, I guess, call Disney and talk to them about it.
Yeah, and there is one important additional thing here. A lot of these hacks, the thing that really is hardcore like hacking is some of these hackers are going into other websites. There was just a report that a cryptocurrency website and a gaming website, something like 2 million plus accounts, usernames and passwords were posted online. Hackers got in there, took those websites, got their usernames, got their passwords, got them unencrypted. And now what they do is they take a bot and they go use that bot and they send it to Hulu, they send it to Netflix, they send it to Disney Plus to go log in. And then they turn around and sell those accounts online, not even just on the so-called dark web.
Right,
but just
everywhere.
Yeah.
eBay.
And for a while they were on Amazon, but Amazon's really cracked down on those recently. So there is a legitimate hacking element to that. Now, to protect yourself, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. One, your bank account should always have the most secure password you can think of.
Yes.
It should not be used anywhere else. And then maybe it's time we start treating your paid services, your subscription to a streaming service, a music service, or anything that has physical monetary value to it as its own tier. And that's not a password you're going to go using on a gaming website that you're going to chat about gaming about, or
a message
Reddit
board,
or
anything,
something.
Yeah,
any message board or something. I mean, your social media too may be a good idea, and two-factor authentication. I know it may be a little annoying to have to use a text message code to log into Facebook or Twitter, but it could help you from getting taken over. So definitely keep an eye on that, because those are big things. Jess, did they talk a lot about why these accounts are so popular being sold online at all?
It's really interesting. A lot of people are saying the account only costs a few bucks a month. Are they selling it for 50 cents? It's just a matter of how easy it is, I think, for these people to get into the account and just say, well, I did it, so here it is. I might as well. I think that's kind of the big thing.
Yeah, and some of them are like $30 a year, so it is a savings. But again, you got to trust that the person whose account you have will detect it, take the account over, and kick you out. But also find that there are a lot of people from overseas where Disney Plus hasn't launched.
Sure.
Because you need not only do you need a US IP address, which you can get through a VPN, but you need a US bank account, which is a little bit more difficult.
Sure.
So we're definitely seeing that become more and more common recently on this. So, and it's not exclusive to Disney Plus. Disney Plus has got the rap a little bit because of how popular it is at the
Well,
moment.
yeah, with 10 million subscribers, something like this is bound to happen. And we can make a post too about just some tips to help you stay safe online, how to protect your privacy, and how to make sure that this doesn't happen to you.
Yeah. And Disney has confirmed this. They did come out this week in a statement to Deadline. It says they have, first of all, found no evidence of a data breach on their end, that their data is secure. But billions of usernames and passwords, quoting Disney real quick, billions of usernames and passwords have leaked from previous breaches at other companies predating the launch of Disney Plus are being sold on the web. We continuously audit our security system, and when we find an suspicious login, we proactively lock the associated user account and direct the user to select a new password. We have seen a very small percentage of users in this situation encourage other users who are having these issues to reach out to our customer support so we can help them. You know, the one thing tough about Disney Plus is they don't allow you to go in there and kick out devices. Like Hulu, I can go in there and say, this happened to me.
Yep.
Man, iPhones, I don't have an iPhone. Delete, password change. So we're hearing a lot of people complain that I get in and I can change the password, but people are already logged in and it doesn't kick them out. So you still need to contact Disney Plus at that point for customer service to get some help kicking them out of your account.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that just happened to me today too. I was writing a story about Hulu, so I logged into my Hulu account and there were 3 web browsers that I didn't recognize. So I kicked everybody out, changed my password, and took care of it, hopefully. But hopefully Disney does the same thing now that they own Hulu. They have that technology. They know how to easily make that change, so hopefully they will soon.
All right, so yeah, if you want to learn more about that, link in the show notes down below, both to the story about the hacking and to a story from Disney with their official statement on it. And let us know, have you had your account broken into? All right, PlayStation View's Death Watch is on. Death Watch 2019 PlayStation View edition. We are about 2 months a little over away from the end of PlayStation View, and had the opportunity to talk with some people who actually worked at PlayStation View and work right now still at PlayStation View. Just what we learned.
Yeah, so this is interesting. It's not super surprising to me that these were the 2 reasons that Sony employees gave for PlayStation View shutting down, because I feel like they're 2 things that we've really talked about a lot here. But still some interesting information. So Sony employees shared 2 main reasons that they believe PlayStation View failed. And the first was the price. So we have been saying all along that their price was sort of on par with everybody else. We didn't really see that as an issue. That wasn't the reason though. So Sony employees were saying that PlayStation View started out too low. With a price point so low, it was very attractive to new users. So subscribers were all for paying a little less and getting more from PlayStation View. Unfortunately, that meant that any price hike seemed like a huge change. So when PlayStation View added more channels, they naturally, like we've been saying, had to increase their price a little bit to make up the difference. And to subscribers, it seemed like PlayStation View then was always increasing their price, and they were these huge jumps from the very affordable service they were used to. So that was the first reason. The second is one that I know you and I both very much agree with, and that is the name of the service. PlayStation View was a terrible name, and Sony employees agreed. It should not have been named PlayStation View. People still to this day believe that you have to have a PlayStation in order to use PlayStation View. That was not true, but Sony was not great at explaining that. They needed better marketing. They needed to just say, we're rebranding, we're changing the name, anything, and it just didn't happen. So that was the second big reason for PlayStation View essentially failing.
Yeah, you know, it's very interesting to see them move in that direction, that the name is one of the reasons, but that the price, the starting point, and it kind of makes sense. You know, we talked to multiple people, and those were the 2 things everybody said. I mean, everybody else had a little bit of this or another idea here or there, but the idea that we started off too low, that we couldn't add any additional content at that price point. We couldn't have all the locals at that price point. And then we set the expectation that that was the price we were going to pay. So everything was based off that $35 introductory offer, as they called it. A lot of people said that was an introductory offer. That was never really advertised that way. You know, it makes you wonder if they had started at 40 or 45 bucks right off the bat, they could have still said, hey, 40, 45 bucks, huge savings off of cable, and had a much more reliable point to build off of. And I think Sony, one of the things I would add is they fell victim to the having to have everything. You know, at some point you can't, at 35 bucks, have all the ESPNs, all the news channels, all the Fox Sports, all the regional sports networks, and more. If they start off at 45, would we be at or $40 or $45? Would we still have PlayStation Vue today?
I don't know. I still feel like the name killed them.
Yeah.
I can't get over the name thing, and it sounds like Sony agrees.
Yeah, and the marketing was really bad.
Sure.
Just to be honest with you, better marketing in PlayStation Vue, even with everything, even with the bad name, even with the early launch, would probably still be here. I would fully expect PlayStation Vue to be around if it, would change its name or get better marketing.
Yeah, I would have loved to see them rebrand completely and just take this in a different direction rather than shutting down. A lot of people are very upset that PlayStation Vue is shutting down, and I can understand why. It was a really good service. I wish they could have rebranded and tried again.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see what happens. One of the things I thought was kind of interesting, we reported it today, that Get TV, which I didn't realize it is a Sony-owned TV channel, wasn't available on PlayStation Vue.
Oh.
But is coming to Fubo TV. Will this open up Sony's willingness to work with competitors now? Will we see YouTube TV, Sling TV, and more come to the PlayStation? Sony's always been kind of like, we don't want competing services on our devices. I think there's a lot more, but I think it was very interesting that the two of these companies out there, or of all the reasons, these two were the reasons that PlayStation Vue failed when I talked to all the employees. That was the name. And even in an interview, I think the head of PlayStation Vue one time kind of said that.
Right.
And two, it was this starting point. So I'd love to know what everybody here thinks. Do you agree? Do you think that PlayStation Vue started off too low? And I think it was creating an expectation that you could get everything for $35, which just doesn't work mathematically.
Unrealistic, sure.
But you look at Sling TV, hey, we're still at 20, we can give you 30 channels, whatever it is, at $25, and then you can add on top of it. Is that the way that Sony should have gone? They have all these different packages, but should they have been more like add-ons? So there's definitely there's definitely an argument here that PlayStation Vue could have been more successful for several different ways. Better starting point, better marketing, better name, better communication with the end subscriber.
Absolutely. And just focusing more on this as a Sony service. I feel like they kind of left it in the background and didn't do what they could have with it. Also, we're seeing some comments now. People are saying that marketing was an issue, and we completely agree. Yeah.
Anything else to add here?
No, I don't think so. I'm all PlayStationed out.
All right. Well, let's get into Pluto TV. This is something that's been coming up a ton. How many times have we been asked, will Pluto TV be free after the Viacom?
Every single day.
Yeah, will Pluto TV be free after the CBS merger? Is Pluto TV going to be free tomorrow morning? And we got a couple reinforcements here that it will continue to be free. Yesterday, the CEO and co-founder, the original one of the founders of Pluto TV, came out and said, we want Pluto TV to be the leader of free entertainment in the United States and around the world. He wants to be a global leader of free TV. And Viacom, during their earnings call, said, we intend Pluto TV to be free. We intend to use Pluto TV to push traffic, basically, to our paid services. We've talked about that a lot in the past. But here's my question for you, Jess. Is there anything Pluto TV can do to convince the masses that they're not going to turn into some paid TV service?
No, I think it's one of those things where it seems too good to be true, but in this case, it's not. And I know that's going against everything that we say all the time. Pluto TV is just a really excellent free service. Now, keep in mind you're getting live channels, but you're not getting, ABC News as you would be watching it on cable. You're getting curated content. Things look a little different. You're getting some different channels that you wouldn't normally get, like the Dora the Explorer channel, things like that, where they're using it as a way to brand their other content. But Pluto TV is just a really excellent service, and yes, it's free. They've said this for years. We've been hearing them just keep reconfirming, yes, it's free, yes, it's staying free. So I think we're all safe for now. I would not worry about this.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of our earlier story where people were talking about how they're going to cheaper on-demand versions.
Yeah, sure.
It's kind of a live-esque feel to it, but Pluto TV it has some live content, but the majority of it's just curated on-demand content. And people love it. And, they're discovering the benefits of free ad-supported content. And Viacom was very clear that, Pluto TV's opened up advertising doors that they didn't have before, and it's really been beneficial to the company. So I expect to see this continue into the future. I don't see any reason why Pluto TV would stop, especially with CBS All Access coming in,
Right.
that they could be like, hey, here's the first season of Discovery. If you want to watch season 2 and the new 3 one coming up,
Sure.
guess what? Head
You have
over.
to pay.
Yeah, head over to the paid service. So a lot of options out there for them to do that. And I wouldn't be surprised. I think, was it Plex that talked about the channel system where you could use Plex to subscribe to other things? I wouldn't be surprised if Pluto TV follows the Apple TV, the Amazon channels. It's like, hey, we got all this free
Sure.
content, but you could, right in the Pluto TV app, add the CBS All Access content.
Do you think
right
that's
alongside.
something that they might do?
And to me, that would be a logical, perfect business move to say, hey, we own CBS All Access, we own Pluto TV. Guess what? All this free content, with a click of the button, you add all the CBS All Access, all the Showtime content. Was it Stars or Epics that CBS has been trying to buy?
Epics, I
Epics.
believe.
Yeah. I mean, press this button and get all Epics content out there. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that. There's definitely the ability for them to make that happen.
Yeah, definitely. But for now, it's just another way for them to make money. So
Yeah.
why would they want to give that up? It's a great service, and they're making money on ads.
Yeah, Viacom was very clear that, hey, these deals with our partners are not upfront money. We're not giving them money. We split the ads. So if no one watches, no one gets paid. But if people watch, you get paid. And it's, it's this content sitting on a bookshelf like this behind us. I mean, it's not making the money there, but to put it on Pluto TV for free with ads is making the money. So I expect them to continue to do that.
Yeah, and speaking of Pluto, someone just asked if I've watched the Ninja Turtles channel on Pluto since the show last week, and yes, I have. Thank you so much for telling me. You also inspired me to go back and watch the movies. The second one's my favorite, for anyone wondering.
All right. Well, let's wrap up the news with the last story. Is this your or my story? I can't remember.
This one's mine.
All right, it's all yours.
So we know that Pluto TV is remaining free. YouTube TV is now saying they are not raising their price. And this is all according to Google. This is not according to us. Please do not quote us on this if the price happens to go up later. But for now, Google is saying that they are not planning to raise the price of YouTube TV. Now, a lot of people have been getting emails saying that the price is going up by $10. And we've seen this on Reddit. We've gotten reader emails. People have been saying, hey, what's going on with this? Do you have any information about it? And now Google is coming back and saying, no, those emails were sent in error. This is a mistake. The price is not going up. We are not planning to raise the price. So here's the thing. Many people are saying, was it really a mistake, or was it just a mistake that you sent this email when you did? They're thinking maybe a price change is coming and they just haven't announced it yet. So everything is kind of up for speculation right now, but as of now, Google says the price of YouTube TV is not going up. If you got an email, it was sent by mistake.
The only thing that makes me think this was an error was that it was $60.99, a very
Yes.
un-Google-ish price,
Right.
for lack of a better term. Typically Google sticks like a flat 60 or a $59.99. They also just raised the price by $10 and didn't add a lot of content since
Right,
then.
yeah.
It's not like who's been shoehorning content in recently. So I would actually lean to, it wouldn't surprise me if this was an accident, just because the pricing was very weird.
Right.
Now, could YouTube TV raise their price? Yeah, they definitely could. There's nothing stopping them. Wouldn't surprise me. Especially, here's the tough thing. Everybody's like, YouTube TV needs to add the NFL Network and it would be perfect. Well, if they had the NFL Network, it may mean a price hike. You add
Sure.
channels, it raises the price. And one thing I've learned over the years is there's built-in price hikes into these contracts. They'll say, hey, the first year while you get launched, we'll allow you to pay less per channel. Second year, you pay a little bit more. Third year, pay a little bit more. And by the fourth year, you're up to the full price of
Right.
the contract. So that gives services, new ones like YouTube TV, time to build a subscriber base. Again, it goes back to the argument of don't start the price too low where you set an expectation.
Absolutely.
But we'll keep an eye on this. I mean, over under, quick prediction. In the next, before the end of this year, we'll just go
Okay.
before the end of the year.
Sure.
Will we see a price hike?
I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Before the end of the year.
Yeah, I think that if they were really planning one for very soon, they would not have just sent out an email saying, no, it was a mistake, never mind. I feel like Google is good enough with PR that they would have found a different way to phrase that to kind of smooth things over when the price hike does happen.
I wouldn't be surprised next year. I mean, it's unrealistic to say prices will never increase. But I hope for Google's sake, it's late next year. You know, if I were them and I was at the NFL Network, I would wait until just before the start of the next NFL season.
Yeah, that would be a great move.
So we'll keep a close eye on this and let you know what we find. But for now, if you have YouTube TV and you're worried about a price hike, don't worry about it. Right now, nothing's happening. All right, so Jess, should we do some questions?
Yes, I have 2 from the Facebook group, and then we will grab some from the chat. If anyone has a question, please leave it. So, first up, someone asked, if I use an Alexa to turn off my TV, will it keep using data in the background?
If your TV has a separately connected Roku or Fire TV or something like that, that it doesn't necessarily stop that. Now, they do have that like IR blaster which turn it off. Now, one of the things some people do is the sticks, they power it by the TV. So when the TV turns off, the power to the stick gets cut off.
Okay.
If you have a like built-in Roku Smart TV or Fire TV Edition Smart TV and you have the sleep timer set, that it will shut off the stream also.
Okay.
But yeah, just turning off your TV, if you have a Roku Ultra or Roku stick plugged in or Fire TV stick, for example, does not stop the stream. Just press the home button. That will stop the data usage of your TV there.
There you go. Next question is, this is kind of a long one. So lots of people are getting letters about their Spectrum cable bundles where they're getting things like TV, internet, and phone, about the prices going way up, like well over $200. It's insane. So many of them are coming to the Facebook page saying, I want to cut the cord, but I also want to completely cut ties with this company. Are there any internet options, internet only, through a source that's not a cable company?
You're going to have to shop around because there's always something. There's a company around here called Grande, which I've never heard of before. And they are an internet provider, and they just kind of, they're out there and they're competing, and they compete right alongside AT&T and CenturyLink, depending on what part of the city you're in. They compete right alongside Spectrum and as a third option. And there's a lot of those growing third options. And then you have 5G internet from like Verizon in Houston and other cities. You have low Earth orbit satellite and more out there that will increasingly start to offer internet in different ways. So the tough thing, I wish I could say like, hey, there's this one company that's nationwide.
Yeah. Go here.
And it really depends on where you live. You talk to your neighbors is the big thing. Get out there and be like, hey, what internet provider are you using? And then shop around and keep your eyes open for new options like 5G, fixed wireless, fiber, and more. Yeah,
when 5G comes out, I think it'll completely change the way that we're all getting internet.
Yeah.
After it has some time to, smooth out the kinks and all of that.
Fingers crossed they work it out. I'd love to see that happen.
Yeah. Okay, one more question from the chat. Curtis said, I think TV networks are being too greedy. Why charge money to watch your local channels? So do you have any advice about watching local channels without paying for one of these live streaming services?
Buy an antenna, get Sling TV, get Friendly, get Philo or more, where they don't offer the locals. The tough thing is that until the 90s, locals were free with your cable. And then locals were kind of like, excuse me, I want my cut. And they start off very cheap, and they've now become very expensive. And they won the right. If you remember the 90s, you probably remember extended blackouts. I remember my local CBS being dark for a very long time, and then it suddenly reappeared. So keep that in mind that they fought for that right. They want it. And actually, a majority of the income now, a lot of these networks have become very fat on that money, and to the point where ad revenue is not their main revenue source anymore. So keep that in mind. And it's kind of one of those balancing games there with it. But yeah, Sling TV says the average cost of cable TV can be as high, or with locals, can be as high as $16 of your bill is local channels on cable TV.
That's insane. One more I just saw. Is there any news on AT&T Watch TV? They just switched to it.
No news there. It has been removed from the package. Some AT&T employees have posted online saying that AT&T will discontinue it at some point. A little rumor that could be rolled into HBO Max or some other service. But it used to be the free service that came with their high-end unlimited plans, while now HBO Max is replacing it in the lineup. So that's one thing to keep. And also, a bunch of people are mentioning if you live in a market with low cast, which is only in a few areas, but if you are one of the people living there, that's a great way to get locals
definitely. Yeah, low cast is great. A lot of you probably know that there is a lawsuit against low cast right now, but for now they are still going strong and they are actually expanding. So look out for more cities soon.
All right. So, Jess, what are you watching this week?
Okay, so I asked some of you on Twitter what you thought that I should watch on the plane. So I was flying to Texas. It was kind of a long flight, and I needed to download some content. And you all said The Mandalorian, overwhelmingly. So I did watch the first episode. Absolutely loved it. Baby Yoda is the best thing I've seen ever in my life. So I'm hooked. I will keep watching.
Perfect. Yeah, I've been working my way through now college basketball. This is sports season to me, and I'm gonna enjoy sports season because come the spring, I'm not much of a baseball fan. It's a long spring and summer season without football and basketball. So I've been enjoying some college basketball. I'd love to know. Leave me a comment. What is your favorite team? I've been watching some Michigan basketball, really enjoying it. Some Michigan football, really enjoying it. So leave me a comment. Let me know what you watch. What's your favorite team? I'd love to hear from you.
I also have one quick note before we wrap up that our next episode of the podcast will be on December 6th. Just because of Thanksgiving and all of the holiday running around. So we will be back on December 6th with another episode.
Yeah, so I hope you all have a fantastic Thanksgiving. I will be doing the core cutting todays. That'll be going through. I probably won't do Thanksgiving Day, though. Just keep that in mind. But I hope everybody has a fantastic week. I hope you stay comfortable. It's absolutely beautiful down here in Texas.
So nice. I might never go back.
Yeah, I don't know what it's like where you are, but we actually have a cold front going to be popping up here later on this week. So hopefully it doesn't get too cold. But take care. Thank you for watching. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up. It really does help us because it lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do. And hopefully we can help you break free from the high cost of cable TV and still watch the shows you enjoy. Hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. Happy Thanksgiving. Take care. We'll be back to the normal split screen next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.